Hello and welcome to Preps Overtime, presented by Tom Dinsdale. I'm Jack Sheard, and well, I do have a real expert with me today. I have the 1,000-yard guy, Bobby Mills.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to talk about high school football. We're in the playoffs, time that I know you love.
It's the holy season. Yes, it's time for that great time of year again.
Yep. And we've got a Grand Island school in it right now.
We do. It's the Grand Island Islanders, and they've had their best year in a long time.
They're going to have a tough match this week. Tough game Friday.
They'll find out what kind of team they are against Creighton Prep. But you know the two top defenses in the state right now are Creighton Prep and Grand Island. So if I was a betting man, I would probably wager that there probably won't be over 3 or 4 touchdowns scored in that game. So it's going to be up to the Islanders to stop that run, that pounding run of Nick Mazur, and how, if they can control that, they might have a good shot.
It'll be a big matchup for Grand Island because I've talked about on the show, this is a group of athletes that they did great in baseball, they did good in basketball, and here they are in football, and they're having a great season. It'll be a check for them to see where they stack up against that quality prep athlete.
This is true. I think Prep's got the tradition, but of course Grand Island does. But you're so right about that. It'll be a great matchup to see how they can fare with a metro team like Prep. Prep has a size advantage, but who knows? The Islanders have a lot of heart.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Another Class A game from around the area. Kearney is taking on another Omaha team, Omaha North.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think about this game?
I think Omaha North has a real fine club. The thing that bothers me a little bit is that they have been scored on to the tune of like 3 or 4 touchdowns a game the last 4 games. I'm a Brandon Cool fan. I love Kearney football. The only hiccup they had, and it concerns me quite a bit at this point in time, is that Norfolk game. And Tom Olson really exploited the middle on the run on that game. And of course, Omaha North has Ron Coleman and Bryant Giles, and those 2 guys will just pound you to death, and that's exactly what they're going to try to do. Now, I think Brandon will figure something out here, and Kearney, I think, can beat Omaha North. If the quarterback situation would not clear up at North, Kearney would definitely win that ball game, hands down.
Will be tough, however, to see another rematch of Grand Island Kearney. They'd both have to make it through some tough games, and might be a little out of the question for this year.
Wouldn't that be great?
That'd be great, though, wouldn't it?
Outstate for the state title. Let's say that's what these fingers are for.
Yeah, we'll cross them, see how things go. Moving down to Class B, a team that has been pretty strong all year, except for the one loss to McCook, Aurora. They are on the road at Alliance, a team that's 5-4, I believe. And a record shows 4 losses versus the 1 loss that Aurora's got. Maybe Aurora's got the upper hand here, but it's at Alliance. What do you think about this game?
I think Aurora has a real good shot here. I think Alliance caught, I'm going to use a word here that's probably not too kosher, but I talked to Jeff Gross from McCook, and I think Alliance caught Ogallala with a McCook hangover. They put a lot into that last regular season game, and not Alliance has got a nice line. They've got a 1,000-yard rusher, but I don't think they have the talent to, that was their one elbow rub with greatness that night, and I think Aurora, who's improved every week, will probably win that ball game by a couple of touchdowns. I really do.
You are the 1,000-yard guy, and during this conversation, you've mentioned a lot of names that maybe I don't know all of them, and maybe some people out there do or don't know all of them. Who are 3 or 4 or 5 guys in the area that you think are outstanding football players?
Well, one, of course, would have to be the big Rodriguez kid from Aurora. He's a Husker, I would say, pledge. He hasn't, they haven't signed on the dotted line. He's D1 material. And, at 6'5", 6'6", 310 pounds, he's a good one. There's a little guy, he's not little, but a kid making a lot of waves over in Gilton. They're Nate Most. He's threw for almost 2,000 yards as a sophomore, and he's throwing for 1,500 yards this year. Got a 1,000-yard receiver. He looks like a real good 8-man player. I like Curtis Udeberg from senior high. He's a tough runner. I often wondered if he played him at linebacker, if he'd be an all-state linebacker, but they platoon over there.
He's a good athlete.
Oh, my goodness, he really is. And he's really fast for his size. And there's a lot of good ones around here. Jake Holmquist from up at Burwell's a great athlete. The kid from Adams Central, the running back, Ryan Beamer, only a junior. He just picked up steam. Labita from Aurora is another good one. Oh man, there's just so many of them. We are talented here in Central Nebraska this year, I feel.
You've mentioned a couple of those, and you talk fast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're excited, and that's great. And you mentioned a couple of those that I'm pretty sure are from 8-man. 8-man is one thing you told me you like.
I really
you
do.
Like it.
I like it. One reason is because of the fast game and the field, and being a groundskeeper, I know these things. You know, it's 160 feet wide on a regular field. It's only 100 feet wide there, and you can get right on the action if you're me, right on the sidelines. And people have the misconception that my 1,000-yard club has mostly 8-man backs. It's 50-50. So there's some talented kids. They're not going to be Division I material, but it's so exciting to watch. And being a stat keeper, I like to write down a lot of stats. So a 50-46 game is just right up my alley.
You get to write a lot about those games.
Oh, I love it. I have plenty of paper.
Well, as we talked about some players. Some of the lower classes are playing right now as we're talking,
yes,
and throughout the day, so we can't really talk too much about those matchups. What are some of the teams in Class C1 to D1 and D2 around here maybe that you think have a chance of going all the way?
I sure think my backfield buddy Carl Tesmer over at Hastings St. Cecilia has a great chance of getting in the finals. They're in a good bracket, and what I think is they're going to have to probably eventually go through Pierce, which will be not too far down the road if they get, you know, but I think they can absolutely get to Lincoln, and it's probably either going to be Norfolk Catholic or Boys Town. Now, whether they can get past that hurdle, I don't know, but I think Carl's got the talent to get to Lincoln from St. Cecilia. I also think off of that top bracket in 8-man too, Burwell, or 8-man 1, excuse me, Burwell has an excellent chance. They are not with Ewing, they're not with, well, they are with Elgin, but I mean, they have an excellent chance of getting to Lincoln. They are so deep, have so many weapons for an 8-man team. They're going to be tough to stop.
So there's some teams in this area with good players and good teams that can make it to Lincoln. So a lot for area people to watch out for as the season goes on.
I think so. I think this is a good year. There have been years where I've been to Lincoln and there has been no Central Nebraska teams, but I keep your eyes open. We've got some good ones here.
And we'll really keep our fingers crossed for that Grand Island Kearney final.
I'm just dreaming of that one, especially at Memorial Stadium.
Well, Bobby, thanks for joining me.
You bet.
And we'll have to have you come back again before we're done with this season because it's been great.
It would be my pleasure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us on Preps HQ Overtime. We'll see you next week.